There are some people who, instead of booking a therapy session, they go and be in a reality show. This is exactly what has happened to Minnie Ntuli. So I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and it is quite sad to see a person who had a lot going on in terms of their career, who could potentially lose a lot simply because they just failed to be a decent human being. They carried on with being a bully. What we saw was actually disgusting, especially for a successful woman, for a woman who is in the media eye. A lot of people actually accept these reality shows thinking that it's going to build their global brand, in which case it could probably, build your global brand if you use it wisely. My frustration when it comes to Minnie Ntuli is the fact that she is in one of the best commercial radio stations in South Africa, and you would assume that she has had some sort of media training. You would assume that she is more equipped with knowledge on how to carry herself, because not only does she just represent herself, but she also, unfortunately, when she steps out, she then represents the actual brand, which is Ikakasi FM. So what happened forced the station to release a press release statement, as a form of damage control. And those things should not be taken lightly, because even if nothing happens now to her, this incident will be considered when it's time to renew her contract. I think that's what she didn't think about, because as much as it didn't happen in the premises of that radio station or in an event which was of that radio station, but what has happened is it now questions her credibility. It makes people question her work. And some people are even saying, but that's how she's always been, allegedly, because we don't know her personally, so one can only assume. But she has put herself in such a sticky situation, and all of this could have been avoided had she just kept to her morals. I don't think that the Real Housewives are completely innocent in all of this. However, I don't blame them, because at the end of the day, a person has willpower. But these shows have a certain mandate that they follow. These type of shows like tension, and also all these dramas, they like it because that actually increases the views of their shows. However, I think it's a rule that you shouldn't be physical with a person. The moment you become physical, that should not be taken lightly. I mean, I don't know, maybe in other countries it goes on well, people like it, but when it comes to South Africa, it's distasteful. It's actually sad to look at. And we just watched a woman's career crumble right in front of our screens, simply because she has issues. I mean, if you are a person that is supposed to be in media, who is supposed to be able to do research, who is also supposed to be able to communicate and hear all sides of a story, if you are unable to communicate effectively with people around you, then what are you doing? Like, did you even take the time to really grasp and understand and study and love the medium of media and communications? Because somewhere, somehow, you skipped a lesson. When you pointed and threatened Londy, you exposed a part of yourself that is so ugly to look at, a part of yourself that shows ukuthi awufundisekile. And now we're going to question everything about you, and even what is going on in your life, because how are you so fixated on this one person? What is it that makes you change and just blow up over umuntu oyedwa, over iy'nqumo zempilo yakhe? You don't have proof. You just, like, what was the point of you being there, Uma Housewives? Why were you not focusing on your own shit? Why did you make the whole thing about Londy? Really? So, because of your actions, uzolahlekelwa khona ngongekho. And unfortunately, working at Kakasini was your bread and butter. The Real Housewives was just a stint that you did. And you could have been a global brand. Some people have been global brands, but instead, even that, angeke isaqhubeka manje. So, usulahlekelwe okhona ngongekho. It's really sad. It is really, really sad. But that's what happens when you go to these type of shows. Reality shows were never meant to be a space of healing. In fact, if you're going to a reality show, you need to make sure that you're not a person who's easily intimidated or who is easily, gets angry. If I push your buttons, you get angry. And also know when to listen. I really believe you should have just went to the therapist. You wasted your time going to that show. In fact, you ruined your life going to that show. And then Londy. Girl. I'm sure the sales in your company have increased because you just showed a part of yourself that you are able to resolve conflict amicably. You are able to restrain yourself because it takes a lot for a person to just hold themselves. Like it takes real strength. Not many people will be able to do what you did. And that has opened doors for you because now people realize what actually you are the type of person that is able to restrain themselves regardless of their feelings. A person that they can be able to work with because you reason, your actions are not hindered by your feelings. Sonjay, you were classy throughout. Like, you were the definition of class. And yeah, I think you're going to have more international brands, wanting to work with you. More people will want to work with you because of how you have shown. Like, we saw another side of you, a beautiful, soft, a beautiful side that is able to resolve conflict, a side that's able to reason. And we even saw yes, we know ukuthi umuhle, but uvele wamuhle kakhulu. Like, uvele wamuhle kakhulu after all of that. Yeah.